Hi folks, back with part two of the label sampler collection. Told a bit of a fib last time. I said we'd finished 1970, but I found five others. So this video will be the rest of the 1970 samplers plus those from 1971. So let's get started with yet another one from CBS, and this is Beautiful People. This features John Kay, Grace Slick and the Great Society with Sally Go Round the Roses. You get Ravi Shankar, The Byrds with Lay Down Your Weary Tune, Electric Flag, United States of America, The Rising Suns, the band with is it Ry Cooder and Taj Mahal, Tim Rose and Don Ellis. Next up, one of the most famous, I think, of the samplers, and one that was expanded to a 3 CD set. This is Picnic, A Breath of Fresh Air. This is for the Harvest label. And on here you get acts like Deep Purple, Barclay James Harvest. You get Embryo by Pink Floyd, which at the time was an unreleased track from the Floyd. You get the Battered Ornaments, the Pete Brown Band, Shirley and Dolly Collins, Pretty Things, Roy Harper, Bakerloo, Kevin Ayers, The Greatest Show on Earth, The Third Ear Band, Syd Barrett, Forrest, Pete Brown and Piblocto, Panama Limited, Quatermass, Michael Chapman, Tea and Sympathy, and the Edgar Broughton Band. So this is a superb compilation of basically, the great progressive era of Harvest. Next up, and we're back to CBS. Yes. And this one is Rockbuster, which folds out another double album with Arnie Schwarzenegger on the front cover. You get the inner. And here you get tracks by It's a Beautiful Day, Blood, Sweat and Tears. You get The Soft Machine with an excerpt from Out Bloody Rages. You get Miles Davis with Miles Runs the Voodoo Down. Flock, Santana with Black Magic Woman. Basically, the four sides are split into different types of music, so that's sort of the jazz and jazz rock. The next one is sort of the folk and country with Poco, Mick Softly, The Byrds, Dylan, Trees, and Gary Farr. You then get the progressive side, which is Argent, Rock Workshop, who were a short-lived jazz rock group with Alex Harvey and other jazz musicians like Ray Russell, Harry Beckett, Bob Downs. Spirit, Black Widow, Skin Alley, and Robert Wyatt. And on the fourth side you get more of the sort of bluesy type acts: Redbone, Johnny Winter, Shuggy Otis, New York Rock Ensemble, Skid Row, Pacific Gas and Electric, Edgar Winter, and Al Cooper. Neat. Get, I think, the first of the Atlantic samplers, and this is The Age of Atlantic. And on here you get Delaney and Bonnie with Eric Clapton. You get MC5, the Allman Brothers, Yes, Cold Blood, Led Zeppelin with Whole Lotta Love, Iron Butterfly, Dada, Led Zeppelin, again with Communication Breakdown, Dr. John, Vanilla Fudge, and Buffalo Springfield with Broken Arrow. And finally, the last one of 1970 that I've got, and that's this one, the Nova Sampler. Now, Nova was a series launched by Decca in 1969. And on here you get Galliard, who were a progressive jazz rock band from Birmingham. You get the Elastic Band, who were a Welsh psych band that featured Andy Scott, who went on to play with the Great Sweet. You get Sunforest, they're a British folk rock trio. Bill Fay, the superb Jan Dukes de Grey. You get Egg, with a great song, the song of McGillicuddy the Pusillanimous, or Don't Worry James, Your Socks Are Hanging in the Coal Cellar with Thomas. Great title. They don't write them like that anymore. On side 2 you get another Egg track. You get Pacific Drift, who were a West Coast influenced band from Manchester with a sort of post-psychedelic pop and early prog rock. You get Black Cat Bones, who were a short-lived blues psych group that only released one album. You get Denny Gerard and Aardvark. That's the Nova Sampler. So finally we can start 1971, and where else would we start but with yet another CBS sampler, and this is the one Together. And this one actually comes on blue vinyl. Surprising how many of these come on coloured vinyl. And on here you've got again Johnny Winter, you've got Ballin' Jack, who were an American sort of horn rock group. They actually supported Hendrix on his 1970 Cry of Love tour. You get Janis Joplin, Santana, Argent, Big Brother, Dreams, Soft Machine with Teeth from the 4th album, Poco, Tom Rush, The Byrds with Lover of the Bayou, Mick Softly, Trees Again, Spirit, Laura Nyro, and the Chambers Brothers. So a lot again of the same act, but different tracks. Next we get the misleadingly titled The Dawn Takeaway concert, because it wasn't actually a live album like that implies. This was Dawn was an English label active from 1969 to 75, subsidiary of Pi Records, and it was, you know, their equivalent of Harvest, etc., their progressive sub-label. And on here you've got the band Bronx Cheer, who it seems were a good time British rock outfit with a jug band sound, sort of then a la Mungo Jerry. You get Mungo Jerry themselves, Mike Cooper, the blues artist, Jackie McCauley, who was used to be a member of them, John McLaughlin, John Sermon, and others, Paul Brett Sage, Heron, the Bebop Preservation Society, Atlantic Bridge, Trio, who were a great band, a jazz band with John Sermon, Bar Phillips and Stu Martin. Demon Fuzz, just one excellent album, and the great British folk rock band Comus, with a track from their first Utterance album. So that was Dawn and the Takeaway concert. Next up, we have another Ireland one, and that's LP. PA, £1.99. And that comes in this weird sort of sleeve where the record is in a clear plastic one just glued inside. Not ideal, but on here you get Bronco, Mike Herron, The Incredible String Band, Mott the Hoople, Alan Baum, Amazing Blondell, Mountain, MacDonald and Giles, Tira Nog, Traffic, Nick Abrams, Sandy Denny, ELP, Cat Stevens, Nick Drake, Quintessence, Fairport Convention, Heads, Hands and Feet, Jimmy Cliff, Jethro Tull and Free. And next, again, probably one of the most popular ones. And then this is the United Artists one, All Good Clean Fun. Again, this one was expanded on CD. And this opens at the top. Show you the record. So you got the two albums inside, and you've got a booklet with again each band outlined with their discographies and a bit about them. And on here you got Eric Burden and War, Help Yourself, The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Colin Scott, If, Man, and to promote this album, Man and Help Yourself and Gypsy undertook a tour of Switzerland. On side 2 you get Cochise, Morning, Gypsy, Alan Taylor, the English folk singer, Ernie Graham, Canned Heat and John Lee Hooker. Side 3, Groundhogs with Cherry Red, Sugarloaf, Hawkwind, Armandou 2, Morning, another track by Canned Heat, Brinsley Schwartz, Reg King, The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Sweet Pain and BB Blunder. Colin Scott was a singer-songwriter described as a cross between Nick Drake and John Martin. Gypsy were a sort of a band from Leicester who played a mixture of styles, incorporating sort of West Coast rock and Southern rock. Ernie Graham had one solo album, played in Heir Apparent and Help Yourself. Sugarloaf were a US rock band originally called Chocolate Hair and had a number 3 hit with Green Eyed Lady. And Reg King was an English singer and songwriter, most famous for being the solo and lead singer with The Boys and The Action. And BB Blunder were an offshoot of Blossom Toes. So lots of decent stuff on that one. That's a really good one. Next up, with Columbia, and this one is still sealed. I haven't yet listened to this one. It's a relatively new one in my collection. This is Different Strokes. And this has, again, usual people, keep saying that, Laura Nyro, Johnny Winter, Chambers Brothers, Poco, Big Brother and Holding Company, Miles Davis, Tom Rush, the New York Rock Ensemble, who were a rock band active in the late 60s, early 70s, described as classical Baroque rock. Sounds interesting. The Flock, Elvin Bishop Group, Dreams, Ballin' Jack, Spirit, The Hollies, Billy Puka, Soft Machine, Fraser and DeBolt, and Redbone. Next up, and we have a Polydor one called Bombers. There you go. And on here you get Ginger Baker's Air Force, Andy Pratt, Derek and the Dominoes with Bell Bottom Blues, The Great Stone and the Crows, Richie Havens, John Mayall, Elliot Randall, who's an American guitarist and session musician. He played the guitar solo in Steely Dan's Reeling in the Years, it seems. I've got Taste, Eric Clapton with After Midnight, Jack Bruce, John Mayall, Gas, Slade with The Shape of Things to Come, another one from Taste, another from Stone the Crows, Webb, and Lifetime. Next, a label. Oh, this one is a one I had back in the day. And this is Take Off Your Head and Listen. And this was a sampler for the Rubber Records label, based, as probably the UK people can tell, in Newcastle upon Tyne. And this featured track. This was a folk label basically, and featured tracks from the Callies, Alan Moffat, Moll, Darwin and Reed, Ian Mills, the great Alan Hull of Lindisfarne fame, Rivers, Pete Scott, Robbie Burns, the JSD band, superb folk rock band, Jeff Laws and Friends, the Healeys, the magnificent Hedgehog Pie, Trilogy, Andy Andrews, and two tracks from Alan Hull and Brethren, who basically morphed into Lindisfarne. One of the tracks on here is We Can Swing Together, which Lindisfarne later recorded. Next up, the second of my Harvest compilations, and that's the Harvest Bag. And on here you've got the Grease Band, Southern Comfort, the Electric Light Orchestra, Climax Chicago, I think probably became Climax Blues Band, yes, from titling it, Barclay James Harvest, Edgar Broughton Band, East of Eden, Roy Harper, The Move, and Mark Almond. Next, last two we've got for 1971, and the first one is for the Areola label. This is a German release, and it's called Think Pop Progress 71. Oops. There you go. It's a double album, and you get a lot of stuff, I think, that was basically licensed to Areola. You get Procol Harum, Gary Wright, Black Pearl, who were a US rock band from San Francisco. You get The Move, Humble Pie, Supertramp, Paul Brett Sage, Fairweather, who you can tell from their name were Andy Fairweather Lowe's band, Jimi Hendrix with the opening jam Sunshine of Your Love, Get Man, Elton John with Take Me to the Pilot, The Falcons, Titus Groan, T-Rex with Jewel, Status Quo, Lee Michaels is a rock musician who sings and accompanies himself on organ, piano, and guitar. Best known for his virtuosity on Hammond. And finally you get the Strawbs. And finally we get a sampler devoted to the Mercury label, the Dimension of Miracles. Another double album, and on here we have Buddy Miles, Ancient Greece, who were a Welsh hard rock side group, Broth, they were a US funk rock band, David Bowie with The Width of a Circle, J.D. Blackfoot, who's a US singer-songwriter, The Second Coming, who were a sort of horn rock band, Blue Cheer, Trilogy, United States of America, Rod Stewart with It's All Over Now, Gator Creek, who were a band I think that featured Kenny Loggins, and Exuma, was a Bahamian musician with a strong mixture of carnival, junkanoo, calypso, reggae, African and folk music. So that's the end of part 2. Part 3 I'll put up as soon as I can, and that'll cover 72 through to 75. Well, I hope you found that of interest again. Thanks for watching. Take care.